Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions. This is a lovely old timer from the way we were at IWC. Although a product of the 2000s, the design roots of the GST collection are in the 1990s, and my goodness does it show. This is the IWC GST Perpetual Calendar Chronograph, reference 3756-03 in titanium. It is a lovely sports watch in the German-Swiss tradition, crafted out of Schaffhausen, Switzerland. So it's big, but it doesn't wear that way. 43 millimeters in diameter, 16.4 millimeters thick from lug to lug, for just including the case, 49 millimeters. And if we include a link on each side, then the total distance across the wrist is 54 millimeters, but don't let that scare you, because you can see on my rather small 16 centimeter circumference wrist, the watch fits nicely and sits nicely. Part of that is the shape of the lugs. Shape is just as important as measurement, and in fact, the further away you get, the better this looks proportionally. So I'm going to say you could wear this watch on a wrist of my size or larger without fear. And being all titanium, it is a very light watch on the wrist. Taking a look at the bracelet, it's integrated into the case, a little bit like the Ingenieur, and you can see how it tapers down from the lug profiles, which are highly angular. Every single link in this bracelet is removable, so you're probably going to get the right fit. We also have a single fold to point clasp with a trigger release on one side. To close it all up, it's actually quite thin for a sports watch clasp when it is closed. And you can see, like the rest of the watch, a combination of satination, media blasting, muted finishes. We have brushed, we have blasted. We have no real polished facets. The old school IWC fish crown, this model launched in 2001, was only made through 2004, so there were quite a few of these fish crowns. Many were replaced in subsequent services, but this one still has the original crown. It's a screw down. The watch is 120 meters water resistant. The lugs are angular and stepped out from the case. You can also see that the bezel features a drilling around its outer circumference, maybe a little bit of a nod to the design of the Gerald Genta IWC Ingenieur. The dial, in black, has almost perfect cruciform symmetry. The only quirk is the little year, decade, century, and millennium indicator. You can see we have semi-instantaneous jumping minutes. I'll try to remove all of the fingerprints here. The dial uses a aventurine moon phase disc, so you can see aventurine glass right there. There is no shortage of luminescence. You can even see the sub-register hands are loomed. We do have the IWC original Kurt Klaus Perpetual Calendar system, which is set by a single point of adjustment and mechanically programmed in sequential. So when you're using the quick set here, you could see how everything, including the moon phase and ultimately months, years, and decades, will adjust automatically. So you just have to set the correct date for the time you're in, and everything else adjusts. You don't have to go look up the moon phase. Pull it out one more stop, you activate hacking seconds. You can set it precisely to a reference time. The watch, of course, featuring a solid case back, as was the way with the GSTs. GST standing for gold, steel, and titanium, and these models were made in all three metals. We have a 7750 base, but it's been highly modified by IWC to become the 79261. Unidirectional automatic winding with a 44-hour power reserve, 4 Hz beat rate, stop seconds, quick set, perpetual calendar, moon phase. It all pivots on 39 joules. It is a it's a cam oscillating pinion chronograph. So it's a type of lateral clutch that has almost no play in it. And you could see when I start the chrono, press and hold, there's really no extraneous movement to the seconds hand. That's one of the advantages of an oscillating pinion chronograph clutch, something that's not often discussed when people speak of 7750s. And I should also mention that IWC does a number on these movements. Back in the early 2000s, they were really gutting the ETA Bausch and replacing a lot of the parts with their own, so it is only loosely 7750 related. This is an original work by IWC in almost every regard, and rare. If you love it, reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details of a calendar system that will not need to be corrected until the year 2100.